On yesterday's show, I had a viewer private message me and also had a couple other viewers tag me in a tweet that surprised me. And originally, I was going to do a late evening live stream, but I felt like there had to be still a little bit more research before I could say anything else on it and see how the story was going to develop and see how it would play out for today. And thankfully, there was a few more sources of information, and the story's still developing. Nothing is solid yet, okay? But this could shake up a lot of things in regards towards Chicago politics. For those of you who don't know, Chicago, yes, we are the most corrupt city in America. We did it. We're number one. Step aside, everybody else, but add in Washington, D.C., then we're number two. But, whatever. But what's going on, especially in my city, is that right now, and this is still developing, and I got two articles to talk about. This caught my attention. Recently filed a ballot initiative. Roger Meadows, if you're listening, a ballot initiative to recall Chicago's mayor, looking to get it on the November ballot. And here's what it is: a statement of organization received calling to remove Mayor Brandon Johnson. Mayor Brandon Johnson slams uphill effort to recall Chicago mayors. Now, this is unheard of. For those of you who don't know, there are no term limits for Chicago mayors. We've had Old Man Daley, who was the architect to make the office of mayor what it is now in the city. Just a short history lesson about Chicago. Before Old Man Daley took over, the city was more or less ruled by the council. The mayor was more of a ceremonial role. Yes, it did have some power, but when Old Man Daley got into office, he cemented it and turned Chicago into a powerhouse for the Democratic machine. And it took a while before there would be another successor to fill in 20 years of ruling over the city, his own son, Daley Jr. Together, the Daleys have ruled unchecked under Chicago for quite some time. And since Daley Jr. stepped aside, Rahm Emanuel was the next successor. And Rahm Emanuel could have become more of a longer-term mayor were it not for the Laquan McDonald shooting, which Rahm Emanuel stepped away from. Since then, we've had Mayor Lori Lightfoot, a one-term mayor, and already there's a rumbling amongst many Chicagoans of making Brandon Johnson a one-term mayor. So let's talk about what's going on. Mayor Brandon Johnson on Wednesday blasted a naysaying effort to establish a legal tool for voters to recall Chicago mayors, calling it disingenuous and saying it's backed by extreme right-wing political rivals. Listen, there's a lot of things that can be said about Chicago, but right-wing, no. It's corporatist through and through, and there are many waiting in the wings thinking that they themselves could be a better Chicago mayor. And before anyone types in the comments section, oh, this is liberal backstabbing. These are Democrats. I'm going to let y'all in a little secret. Wink, it's Chicago politics. Wink. And you know what that means, right? Wink, yeah, you're a Democrat. Wink, you don't have to sign up for one until you put the D in front of your name. That's it. Anybody can be a Democrat in Chicago politics. Anybody can be one. You, your friends, your neighbors. That's if the system wants you to be in it. But you have to, ka-ching, deliver. That's just how it works here in Chicago. I know. There are some good people in Chicago. There are some people fighting for us, but they're few and far between. The mayor's comments came after a Lakeview resident earlier this month created a political committee with the Illinois State Board of Elections seeking to establish a recall mechanism for the Chicago office of mayor. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm better to have the ability to recall the mayors, put in term limits, than have a 20-year dynasty. That's right. You heard me. Old Man Daley and Daley Jr. collectively had 20-plus years. Add them both together, that's a 40-plus year rule of a dynastic family over Chicago politics. Does that sound like democracy or feudalism perfected? Hold on, folks. It gets better. State law does not currently provide a legal apparatus for voters across Illinois municipalities to recall mayors. Voters get an opportunity every 2 years, 4 years, Johnson said, adding that the extreme right wing is not pleased with the diversity of Johnson's cabinet. No. There's a lot of people not pleased with your administration. A lot of black voters are not pleased with your administration. A lot of Latino voters are not pleased with your administration. There's a lot of people all across Chicago, this city that is heavily scarred by hyper-segregation, inflation, gentrification, corruption. There are many people upset with your administration and how indifferent you are. Hell, there's now a talk of who is worse, Lightfoot or Brandon. Continuing on, it's some dude from the suburbs who is mad about the diversity and formation which we have put forward, the mayor said, before laying out several of the progressive initiatives the administration has passed in his nearly 1 year in office, including paid leave policy, abolishing the city's sub-minimum wage for tipped workers. What about the lead in our drinking water? What about police corruption? What about these real estate developers kicking people out of their homes? What about these industrial facilities on the south and west side neighborhoods polluting black and brown communities? I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. While Johnson said the effort was started by a suburbanite, the man who created the committee is 58-year-old Daniel Bolin of the Northside's Lakeview neighborhood, a technology salesman who said he votes straight down the middle. Okay, buddy. Bolin is organizing a push not just because he disagrees with the mayor's policy, but because he believes in democracy. Direct democracy, he said. If the mayor's taking this personally, he shouldn't, because he ran on transparency and accountability. He said, this is about good government. It's not about left or right wing. I'm okay with this, regardless of where he stands politically. The office of Chicago mayor is something that should not have this absolute power and unchecked term limits. Now, many of you are still probably reeling from the fact of, well, wait a minute. How is it that Chicago can have a mayor stay in office for so long? It's like a monarchy, because that's how the machine works. I encourage you, my viewing audience, to read the book American Pharaoh. And you'll find out just what kind of power Old Man Daley had, not only in the city, but nationwide. A mayor having influence even in the White House. If you think I'm joking, no, this is Chicago, baby. Yes, hey, to the conservative watchers out there, those Trump supporters and libertarians, yeah, this is all true about Chicago being corrupt. All of it. And it should send a shiver down all of your spines collectively, no matter where you stand politically, everybody, because you do not want to have any city like this. And this isn't just Democrats. This is a corporatist neoliberal machine. And the cracks are beginning to show. It is starting to fall apart. And these are desperate attempts by the establishment. And Brandon Johnson should be on board with this, because heaven forbid we have another mayor for 20 plus years. Will they be good? Will they be bad? Will they be corrupt? All that unchecked power, there must be accountability. And if a mayor is a failure, hey, that kind of rhymes a little bit, then they should go. There were a lot of people who would have been on board for ousting Lightfoot, her and her fantastic ideas and always dressing up like a costume character clown, putting NASCAR in the middle of downtown Chicago. What kind of dumb idiot does that? Anyways, maybe I'm getting too personal here. I'm sorry. Regardless of his motivations, there's little doubt that it's a steep climb to get the referendum on the general election ballot in November. Under Illinois law, Bolin would need to collect 56,463 signatures, valid signatures on his petition by August 5th for a recall mechanism question to appear on ballots in Chicago this fall. Bolin acknowledged Wednesday that he currently doesn't have yet any signatures. Hey, Bolin, listen, buddy. In the off chance you see this video, you have a golden opportunity at the DNC convention to collect signatures. You can pull this off. But that's going to be, it's August 5th. Damn it. Sorry, because the DNC convention is going to be between the 19th and 22nd. Okay. I'm going to see if I can reach out to this guy and see if I can have given on the show. I will see what I can do, folks. I will see what I can do. But, all right. Good luck to you, Bolin. You know, I'm pretty sure there might be some people on board. If the question makes it into Chicago's November ballots, a majority of voters would need to approve it, and then recall supporters would likely have to collect even larger number of signatures as part of another petition drive before a formal recall vote could be placed on the subsequent ballot, likely years into Johnson's first term. Previous mayoral recall talks have gone nowhere, including when State Representative LaShawn Ford, a Chicago Democrat, floated the idea of recalling then Mayor Rahm Emanuel following his handling of the police shooting death of Laquan McDonald. In Buffalo Grove, a trustee was successfully recalled in 2010. Good. Bolin said he's motivated to move forward with the recall effort because he's unhappy with Johnson's efforts dealing with youth crime and ongoing migrant crisis. The mayor should be accountable to the people of Chicago, not just on election day, but every day. And that's true for every mayor. Every mayor. So we'll see what happens, but this is quite fantastic. The fact that there is a attempt to recall Mayor Brandon Johnson. I'm on board for accountability for all these politicians. None of them should be secure in their office. They should not be comfortable. This goes for city elected officials, county elected officials, state elected officials, and federal elected officials. They are supposed to be servants of the people, be it a Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green, Libertarian, whoever. They should always and must be held accountable by the people. And having the ability to recall said politicians, be they city council members, county council members, mayors, state and Senate House representatives, federal U.S. Senate and House representatives, or even the President of the United States, they must all be held accountable for their actions. Maybe that will put a fire under their butts to maybe do their job, or either that, perhaps it will make way for good people to represent us. There must be accountability. And I, for one, welcome it. For too long, the office of Chicago mayor has had absolute power. And I say this as a resident who's been living in the city of Chicago for quite some time. My family has been living here for generations, starting with my great-grandfather to yours truly. Accountability for these politicians. It's long overdue.